So Sean Byrne, this is my biggest concern with Baylor, right there. You see that?
And that's legit, completely legit.
So that's my biggest concern with Baylor is one.
They got 15 fouls to throw at them. That's what I'll say.
They do. They do. I don't know if fouling Timmy matters. All right, and there's two things that I'm concerned with Baylor. The first one is that I expect them to come out and try to play their game. Right? If you're Baylor, if you think that you're the best team in college basketball, which I'm sure that they do, you're going to come out and try to play your game. You're going to attack the offensive glass. You're going to play up tempo. You're going to try to run. You're going to do all of these things that you've been doing all season that have gotten you to this point where you're the second best team in college basketball at minimum, right? Maybe the best team in college basketball. You're going to do what you do. And I think that does play into Gonzaga's hands a little bit. I think we're going to see them get out and transition a little bit more than we did against UCLA. That's a problem. You don't want to let them run. That is a nightmare if you let them run. The other part of it is that I think that Gonzaga is kind of singularly built to be able to deal with the ball pressure and the defensive stuff that Baylor does, because they have three big guards that can all play the point. And I don't think that their ball pressure is going to take you out of the offense because you have three different guys that can run the offense. Think about it like this. Whoever Maceo Teague is guarding, whoever Adam Flagler is guarding, maybe even whoever Matthew Meyer is guarding on the perimeter, you can have that guy initiate your offense, and you're still going to be able to run the sets you need to run to be able to get the ball to Timmy in the post. You're still going to be able to do the things you need to do off of ball screens to get Timmy touches in the post. And even in a best-case scenario, I don't think that any of the Baylor bigs can deal with him. Flo Thamba and Everyday John are just – they're not good enough when it comes to dealing with the ceiling stuff that Drew Timmy can do. And while I love Mark Vital, and while I think that his ability to kind of wedge people out using his leverage is something that is really, really good, the problem with Timmy is even if you get him out to like 10 feet, he's just so good at turning and shooting over someone and banking something in off the glass that I think that Timmy's like the one guy. I would rather see.
Toughest matchup. He's been all year. Yes. He's been the toughest matchup for whoever he's gone up against. It doesn't matter. Drew Timmy has found a way. Like first half the other night, he wasn't great. Overtime period with 4 fouls, he was dominant. So I'm with you. I think that
tell me if you think this is a hot take. Tell me if you think this is a hot take. I think that Drew Timmy is a worse matchup. If I was Baylor, I would rather Gonzaga have Luka Garza in this matchup than Drew Timmy, because I think Vital can use his weight to push Luka Garza out. And I don't think, and because everything Garza does is kind of like he's going to bully ball you, right? Yeah. Like it's a bull in a china shop. And I don't think, even though he's got like 7 inches and however many pounds on Vital, I just don't think that you can move Mark Vital if Mark Vital decides he wants to stay in one place, right? It's like pushing against the wall. Yeah. You know, if I decide I want that ball to be down and I go and push on it as hard as I can, it's not going anywhere. That's the same thing as Mark Vital. You're just not moving him. So I think that Drew Timmy is probably the worst possible matchup for a 5-man that you could have for Baylor. And I think that they have enough guard play to be able to get the ball into him. And the other thing is, and just real quick, I'm sorry, then I'll let you go, is that with the no middle defense, the way that you beat that is you make these probing drives, because we've talked about this, right? The whole thing that they do is they force you baseline so you know where they know where you're going. And as soon as you put the ball on the floor, the help moves immediately to get a guy in a charge spot, to get a player rotating down to cut off the baseline pass. So their help defense moves as soon as you drive baseline because they know where you're going. Now, if you can kind of have these probing drives where you don't actually get into the double team and you kind of stay about 15 feet away from the basket, and you have big guards that are able with one dribble off the live dribble to pick out passes to guys on the perimeter, that's how you break down this no middle defense that Baylor plays. And that's what Gonzaga has 3 guys that are capable of doing. So that's my big concern, is that Gonzaga they can counteract the stuff that Baylor wants to do best in transition. And they have a roster that is kind of built to be able to attack the defense that Baylor plays.